Hello everyone, welcome to a new series, Tina Teach JavaScript 101. Today's lesson is about web integration, more so how JavaScript works. We're going to be taking a look at a few samples of JavaScript syntax and just sort of see how it all works together with HTML and CSS. Now I want to introduce to you a script tag. In an HTML file, you have a separate, section for CSS, which is marked by the opening tag style and the closing tag style. And it's the same for JavaScript. If you want to put JavaScript in the same file as HTML, you're going to have to surround the code with the script tag. Remember, open script tag and then closing script tag. Okay. For example, let's say that before and after it's just a bunch of HTML code. In the middle, you can put script, document, get element by ID, demo, inner HTML, printing this sentence, and then closing the script tag. Now I'm going to explain what this code mean in a little bit, but just know for now that what this does is it puts or it print the sentence over here into the HTML file. Okay, let's move on to functions and events. A function is a block of code that's only executed when it is called. Okay, so if you write a bunch of code and you put it in a function, it will absolutely not work whatsoever. Not because it's wrong, it's just because you haven't called it. And what does it mean when you call a function? I'm going to explain that. I'm going to explain that in future lessons, okay? But for now, just know that the key when it comes to function is that you have to call it for it to be executed. And a function can be called when an event occurs, like clicking on a button. In the case with buttons, you can absolutely put a button in an HTML file and you can attach a function to that button. So whenever you click on that button, in the browser, the function automatically runs. So you don't need to, call it manually. Next up in placement, we're going to talk about the placement of the script tag, whether in the head or the body. You can choose, either. In the head, we have the style. That's where the CSS lie. You can group CSS and JavaScript together and just leave, the HTML for the last, if that's how you prefer to organize the three. Or you can do it, separately using an external JavaScript file and then link it to your HTML file. Similarly to how CSS can be a separate file and then you link it to the HTML file, you can do the same for JavaScript, okay? The nice thing with this is you don't have to have a single JavaScript file. It can be multiple files, all linked to one HTML file. Now, this may be a little bit inconvenient. Not really. But, if you don't really like opening multiple files at one time, so maybe it is a little bit inconvenient. But external JavaScript does offer you a higher level of clarity when it comes to developing your website. And you can link the JavaScript to an HTML file using script source, the name of your JavaScript file, .js, and then closing the script tag. Moving along to external advantage. What are the advantages of using external JavaScript file? As I've mentioned, if you separate the HTML and the JavaScript file, you have an easier time developing your website, first of all. And it is way easier and friendlier to maintain in the case of you coming back and forth to, adjust your website, make it better. And a cached JavaScript files can absolutely speed up website loading time. All right, and so that's one major advantage. And you can have multiple scripts integrated to one HTML file. All right, so there are many advantages, many pros that come with this. Last but not least, how can you reference an external JavaScript file? Now, I'm mentioning specifically about this statement right here. How can you reference, or the different ways, different values that you can use for the script tag in order to link the JavaScript file to the HTML file? You can do it using, the full URL. If the JavaScript file is online, you can just copy and paste that. Or you can use the file path, file path, for example, user, like document, JavaScript file, right? And then the name of your JavaScript file, for example, like myjsfile.js. Or you can simply go for just the file name if the HTML file and the JavaScript file is in the same folder. So you can just simply go for the name. So I have my HTML file over here, and you can go ahead and put the script tag either in the body tag or in the head tag. But as you can see, the head tag is a bit loaded right now, so I'm just going to put it in the body tag. Script, I'm closing. Let me change this from Django to HTML. And in the script tag, I'm going to print out something using inner HTML as an introduction. Document.get element by ID over here, and let's use example. Dot inner HTML equals to hello world. Now, this is not going to print if we have no ID to put the inner HTML in. So I'm going to escape out of the script tag, go into the body tag, and create a div with the ID example. And I'm just going to leave it blank. So this is a quick example of how you can utilize JavaScript. Let's move on to a more complex example, and then we're going to view the results after all of this. And I'm going to put the JavaScript in the head section, okay? So let's go down and have script. And in script, I'm going to create a function named myFunction. And then curly braces, document get element by ID, the same thing that you see previously. But now I'm going to use a new ID, and I'm going to name it, let's not go with examples, go with cake. Dot inner HTML equals to, the cake is velvet. Don't forget the semicolon. And then down here, let's create another div with the ID of cake and a button. A button so we can trigger the function, okay? The function is not going to do anything if we don't call it. And that's going to be something that I'll expand in future lessons. But for now, let's just go ahead, type button on click my function, and then the brackets. Let's close it, click me for cake. As you can see over here, we have our hello world just like we coded, and then we have our little button, click me for cake. The cake is velvet, okay? So that's one neat thing with JavaScript. It makes our website much more dynamic. And you can achieve the same result if you use external files. I'm going to create two new JavaScript files. So javascript1.js, and then another one, javascript2.js. They're going to do the exact same thing. And if everything goes well, it's going to be the same website that I've just demonstrated. So let's go to JavaScript 1, open with Visual Studio Code. And I'm going to copy some of the code in the main.html file onto the JavaScript 1 JavaScript file. Let's copy this one first. Okay. Put it in here. Let's remove the script, because if you're in the JavaScript file, you do not need the script tag. And then let's go ahead and open up JavaScript 2. And I'm going to copy up here the function. Let's delete the script tags in the head section. We need to keep the two divs along with the button, okay? Because we need to be able to call the function. Now, it is not done, just like we did with style sheet, our style.css file. We need to link both of these into the main.html file. So in head, let's go with script one more time, and source. Since this file and the other two are in the same folder, we don't need to go full path. We just need to type in the name. And the same thing with JavaScript 2. JavaScript 2. Okay, and then make sure to, make sure to close it. I'm going to establish a new property of JavaScript that you may be interested. So for this div, I'm going to add something, just a bunch of nonsense, and I'm going to create another button. Type, button, okay, on click equals to replace div, okay. Try me. And then let's go to JavaScript number 1 and put this into a function. And we have to go with the correct function, function name, replace div. So replace div. And then put this over here. And now with our website, we have a bunch of nonsense over here. And if we click try me, we get hello world, right? And if we click me for cake, we get the cake is velvet. That's it for today's lesson. Thank you for watching, and I really do appreciate it. Since you watched until the end, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Next lesson is going to be JavaScript output, so stay tuned and have a wonderful day.